Would you believe me if I told you this show is really good? Cyberpunk 2077 had possibly the most disastrous, laughable, and disappointing launch in video game history. But the show is cool as f***. Cyberpunk 2077.
What the hell is happening here? Wow.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Weird, right? But what's the show about? What makes it good? Show me the cool stuff. Okay, but let's get on the same page about the disaster. CD Projekt Red is a Polish game publisher known for Witcher, and Witcher, and Witcher, which are actually pretty huge games. So huge, in fact, that when Obama visited Poland in 2011, the Prime Minister slid him a copy of The Witcher.
Refusal to comply with a subpoena newly issued by the Select Committee to investigate the
Stop. Stop, seriously, I'm trying to focus. Okay. Oh, one last thing. I got you game. It come from Poland. Oh, you shouldn't have. No, I will hear none of this. I do it because I want to. Oh, that's so sweet, Donald. This really happened. CD Projekt Red grew with every Witcher drop, which was cool, but they needed another huge franchise. The team huddles together to discuss the issue. I want to make new game. We make trailer for game. Yes, you. Yeah, do we have money for a new game? Or enough people in development? Is the technology even... Oh. I understand what you mean. So at end of trailer, we put coming when it's ready. Right? They plan to fucking lie. CD Projekt Red puts out a trailer for Cyberpunk that racks up millions of views in a super short amount of time, building hype 8 years before release. But that coming when it's ready thing would bite them in the ass later. After the success of Witcher 3, CD Projekt Red is like, cool, now we have enough resources for this Cyberpunk thing. And they attempt to double the studio's headcount from 400 to 800. Very cool. Things would only get cooler in 2018 when they released 48 minutes straight of no bullshit, unedited gameplay. Gameplay of what? I don't know, because this doesn't look like an extremely buggy piece of shit to me. It's not the Cyberpunk I played, but let's ignore the fact that this trailer is extremely misleading, and multiple employees came out later saying, yeah, it's completely fake. It looked cool, and 22 million people thought the same exact thing. CD Projekt Red is partying their asses off, all the way up until the Keanu event. In 2019, they got this beautiful, charismatic motherfucker to promote the game, and boy did he add to the hype. This event was the catalyst for a time you guys might remember as the worst fucking period for memes I've ever goddamn seen. Fuck. But they got the ball rolling. Cyberpunk was getting a lot of new eyes on it, and to top it off, CD Projekt Red made the genius move of changing when it's ready to April 16th, 2020. Pre-orders came pouring in. They released action figures of Keanu, headphones, cyberpunk-themed Xboxes. Uh-oh, I must be reading this wrong. What the heck, team? They announced that the game has been delayed from April to September, but it's complete and playable. Okay, whatever. What? It was delayed again from September to November, but it's completely playable, right? It's complete. There's no way these nice guys would fucking cap. They promised. Hi, before I take tomorrow off work, can I have full confirmation that the game is coming out that day? Full confirmation. CD has delayed the game like 3 times, and 8 million geniuses, including myself, got talked into pre-ordering the game. I thought I was resistant to hype, but my friends talked me into it the night before saying, bro, it's like Skyrim with guns, come on, bro. Alright guys, I'm gonna buy the game. This game was a piece of shit, and everyone knew it. People started noticing glitches everywhere. Not minor, oh, teehee, the collision physics get kind of funny sometimes. I personally booted up the game, and every single character in the game was black. I don't have the footage anymore because I threw out the idea for that video, but what the hell? At least I have a decent PC. People on PS4 could barely play the game. So CD tries to make a quick patch.
Son of a bitch, man!
Somehow, These guys managed to make the game worse.
This thing's fucking blue screening me. Are you kidding me?
Sony even removes Cyberpunk 2077 from the PlayStation Store so people can't even buy it. By the way, before all this, CD Projekt Red claimed that Cyberpunk ran surprisingly well on last-gen consoles. 18 million copies of the game later, I think it's safe to say that no game in history has been hyped to such a degree just to fail this poorly. They crashed Steam with how many copies it sold. And while it's very funny to look at this colossal failure and laugh at everyone involved, I think it's way funnier to look at what I tell you next has to stay between you and me. It's all alleged, you understand? The source for my information is a snitch that worked for Quantic Lab. Quantic Lab is a Romanian quality assurance company. In essence, they make sure the game isn't a buggy piece of shit before it gets sold. You caught the issue. Okay, I can tell. When developers make a game, they need people to play the game, make sure it works, and if there's anything funky, they tell the devs. So after CD Projekt Red gets into contact with these people, Quantic sends down a team to Poland. Now, our guys at Projekt Red are under the impression that Quantic is sending their elites, people who've been in the quality assurance industry for years. But when CD Projekt Red picks these guys up at the airport, it becomes obvious something is fishy here. Hey, how's it going? It was a mission to get here.
Arthur!
Oh. Okay. Arthur. You guys have a nice flight?
Arthur!
These were not Quantic's elites, I think. Quantic sent what they call juniors. These are people with very little experience, like a year or less. Allegedly, their team leader had less than a year of experience himself. Whatever, they start testing the game as best they can, and someone has the bright idea, hey, what if we make a quota so every game tester has to find at least 10 bugs each? Well, that's a dumb fucking idea. Let's do it immediately. To reach this quota, Arthur and the gang just start pointing out every single flaw they can. Oh, this sidewalk looks funny. And the developers very quickly receive hundreds of things to fix a day. As you can imagine, hundreds of flaws a day turns into thousands, and CD Projekt Red was like, what the fuck? We don't know what to prioritize now because you guys are telling us the most mundane issues. It was hard to sort out the game-breaking bugs from the minor miscellaneous stuff. CD Projekt Red was getting like a million complaints. They already had a short deadline, and someone comes up with another stellar idea. Instead of 30 Arthurs, let's have 60 so we can double the work. That's retarded. Let's do it. So now CD Projekt Red is understaffed in multiple areas. They have to train these new testers. They have to sort out thousands of issues with the game and figure out which ones actually matter for playability. It didn't work out. Here's the result. No one knows for sure what caused the game to be so poopy on release. But hopefully, this information brings us a little closer to the truth. I forgot this video was about the When they announced the Cyberpunk anime, many of us were like, yeah, okay, whatever. Wait. Objection! CD Projekt Red isn't animating it, right? It's Studio Trigger.
Wow! Fuck yeah! More!
Edgerunners rips the guts out of Cyberpunk and only takes the useful parts. So if you've played the game, you're gonna be like, yo, I've been at this location, and if you haven't, everything is fresh and exciting. Important characters make appearances, the main character grows up in the same apartment complex that you play in, and if you're watching the subtitled version, dialogue just pops up in the UI during phone calls. It's super cool. The world here truly feels like its own place, a buzzing city that never sleeps. In it, a bunch of different groups develop. There's the Suits, who climb the corporate ladder and live well off. They're also part of a Zuckerbergian criminal corporation that owns everything. Maelstrom is full of these yucky people who want to fit as many cybernetic implants into their bodies as they can. And the Edgerunners are mercenaries who know just enough about tech to commit crimes and stay undetected. A lot of people are forced into this lifestyle, like this kid named David. David's not an uncommon story. He's poor, just like everyone else in Night City. And while his mom grinds her ass off every single day to send him to a good school, they live in a world where everything is chipped and connected to the internet. Your appliances, your house, your school, even you. So if you don't have the latest update or kung fu brain chip, get the fuck on this floor and start slurping noodles with the hobos. And possibly penis. I don't know. We all gotta make money somehow. But David's smart. He's a straight-A student. Maybe he'll prove that even if the odds are stacked against you, you can hack, scratch, and claw your way to the top. He's got a wonderful lady behind him and a good brain in his head. But the thing about Night City, it can take everything from you in a flash. It's freaking cool, right? Edgerunners tells a very, very, very adult story, which I appreciate considering the return to wholesomeness in the anime community. It seems like every season, the new shows everyone talks about are these
me, pick me and escape from reality. Don't think about violence. Look at these cute girls.
fuck that baby stuff. Cyberpunk isn't here to make you feel loved or comfortable or happy. This is that dick-dripping, heart-pumping psychopath shit. In the first minute of the show, we see the good guys getting murderlated and exploded and chopped up. Your jaw drops like, huh? And then it continues for another 2 minutes. Yes, yeah! I feel like a man! Which is precisely what's so disturbing about this world. David isn't a man, but Night City has no use for boys. His purity is gradually stolen from him, and Cyberpunk forces you to understand exactly why. Day after day after day, the pressures of poverty begin to close in on David, and before he even realizes it, you notice that the only way to survive in this world is to live outside of the law. Maybe he does need to steal to survive. Maybe he's got to beat this guy up. Maybe he'll take this gun, and if he really wants to survive, he'll shoot this guy in the head 2 times just to be safe. The suffocating grasp of the city makes both of us uncomfortable, and you wonder, would I do anything differently? Fuck, that's good writing. Look at the screen for this part, okay? Falco, David, Lucy, Maine, Kiwi, Doc, Faraday, Rebecca. I just listed these guys rapid fire, and yet you were able to absorb so much personality just by looking at them. This show is clearly a work of passion, and I'm not hearing anyone who says otherwise. Every wall has dings in it and is washed with graffiti. When someone gets hit in this show, they get fucking hit. And this guy's arm does this for this one scene. This isn't stuff you do when you're cutting corners. You do this when you love your job. Remember those cartoons I made? They look like shit. Fuck this job. Just kidding. When the show takes the characters somewhere, the artists, sound, and color designers make sure that you're coming with. Come on. All the art and music in the world can't make a good story, though. It's polish that you use to bring out a show's shine. At the end of the day, what makes this show is its world building, layered storytelling, and thought-provoking characters. Take, for example, the cyber psychosis element. The more cybernetic implants you have, the closer you get to losing your mind. But our guys are in the crime business. The less implants you have, the greater the risk of you getting murdered. So it becomes this balancing act of getting enough enhancements to be ready for anything, but also not so many that you lose your mind. You can't just say, don't get more implants. It's fucking genius and adds so much depth to every decision the characters make. Everyone's seen someone they love get cyberpsychosis, and they all manifest their trauma differently. Rebecca fears seeing her loved ones go down that path. Maine mods himself to run away from something. There's layers to this stuff. Why couldn't 2077 make me see that? Well, that's part of it. The characters in Edgerunners have such grounded motives. When you finish it, you feel like you've just walked a light year in David's shoes. But put that beside the game and picture this. In Cyberpunk 2077, experience dialogue options that don't change a dick's worth of piss most of the time. Alienate the fuck out of yourself. Because you're like, I thought I picked this fucking option. Why did this guy betray me regardless of what I picked? Your main character, his name is V. Which is a fucking letter and not an actual name, and his motivation is to become a legend. To become a legend. I've met hookers with cooler motives. I don't care about becoming a legend. The show and the game share so many of the same themes, but they come through so much clearer in the show. You don't have to sit through hours of dialogue to be captured by the vast, daunting world that CD Projekt Red tried to make. If you liked the game, hated it, haven't played it, whatever, if you have any sense, sit down for a couple hours and watch this in a day. 8 out of 10. Would get traumatized again. Oh yeah, they have the same driving mechanics from the game.